It's time, flatties. It's time to put up or shut up. Time to fight, fuck, or hit the fence.
I suggest you hit the fence.
We, as in those of us who accept reality, have a working model. We can explain how every single thing happens and works on the globe. We can predict things from star and planet movement, weather patterns, climatology, flight paths, time zones, global positioning systems, seismology, and much, much more. You, flatties, cannot. Not until you have a working model. And without that model, you don't have anything. All you have is anomalies that you cannot explain. So, where is the model? There is a long list of problems you need to account for with the flat Earth. You can make your observations, you can ramble about not seeing the curve and not feeling the spin, you can point to anomalies, but none of this fits the scientific method. That method involves constructing an explanation of reality, and then seeing if that explanation can hold up to intense scrutiny from the scientific community. I don't know all of the things that are going to have to go into this model, but I'll give you guys a quick helping hand. Here's just a few, as usual, in no particular order. The sun. You need to explain the sun as a local light source that has a perfectly straight terminator line, and you need to fit it accurately with what we know about time zones. For instance, you can't use the AE map. As you can see from this example, on the equinoxes, it will be night in Tokyo and Boston, but day in Perth and Buenos Aires. This does not match what we see in reality. You will also need to explain the sun's lack of angular change in size, if it is indeed a local light source. No evidence of it doing so has ever been found. Any videos that claim to do so are usually a lack of understanding how a solar filter works. Not to mention, none of these changes comport with what it should actually do. It should be growing and shrinking by a factor of 3, not by a factor of 0.005. Eclipses. You need to explain eclipses on a flat plane. The only way that we know of to get perfectly circular shadows over the sun is with a spherical shape. A flat disk shadow is going to change depending on the angle. That's simply a fact. You need to explain how it works the exact same way every single time. Flight paths. Your map must comport 100% with reality. You must draw the map in such a way that flight paths still make sense. The AE map, again, is not going to cut it here. For instance, a flight from Santiago, Chile to Sydney, Australia takes about 12 hours. In order to make this time on the AE map, the plane will need to travel at roughly twice the speed of sound. Not only this, but these flights would actually need to take a curved route to maintain the globe illusion, or else people might notice that they're inexplicably flying over a land that looks an awful lot like North America on their way to Australia. Satellites. You need to account for how satellites work on your model. Keep in mind that claims of ground-based communications have already been disproven many times over. For instance, if all satellite dishes are actually pointing toward ground towers, why are satellite dishes at the equator pointing straight up? If GPS is achieved via the Loran system, why does it update once a second instead of once an hour like Loran does? You need a way for satellites to work. The ISS. What is the International Space Station in your model? Keep in mind, a lot of it has been confirmed from the ground. Amateur astronomers have mathematically confirmed its altitude, size, and shape. It can be spotted anywhere on the planet, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Given these facts, we can conclude that it is not a drone, as a drone traveling at those speeds would be quickly ripped apart by aerodynamic forces, especially given the unwieldy shape. So, if the ISS is not a pressurized tin can hurtling over us in low Earth orbit, then what is it? Star trails. The stars are a serious problem on the flat Earth model, especially when it comes to the pole stars. There is, to date, no flat Earth model that can account for the stars appearing to rotate around 2 fixed points at our north and south poles. One pole star might make sense, but 2 clearly points to a sphere. Sigma Octantis is a problem for you, flatties. The tides. Remember how water is always flat and level? Well, here's the thing. Flatties, do the tides exist? Then water is, by definition, not always level. What is there on the flat model that can account for water shifting massive amounts of itself from side to side on a daily basis? I once heard Southern Israelite claim that it was due to a secret ocean beneath our ocean pushing its waters up.
So how do I explain tides? Tides are explained by the fact that there is a deep of water under the earth. The Bible says that there is a deep of water under the earth, and in some way the structure of the continents floats on top of the deep.
I'll hold my laughter, but just prove it. That's all. That's all we're asking. Show us how it works. Last, but certainly not least, photos. Let's just take a second. Let's be reasonable human beings, and let's set aside any emotions that might swell up in your infantile hearts at hearing the names of NASA, SpaceX, JAXA, Roscosmos, Blue Origin, CSA, or any of the others. All of that aside, there are thousands, likely millions, of photographs of the round Earth. I'm not going into the specifics of the composite argument, but the short and narrow of it is, there are at least 2 cameras taking full photos, not composites, every single day, right now. To date, there has never been a proper debunking of any of these photos. I actually attempted to, and I couldn't find any fakery. I'll probably look deeper later, but for now, what I'm saying is, flatties need photographic evidence. I understand that your model involves no space travel, so you can't exactly photograph the entire thing, but we need something. We need photos of the ice wall, and that does not include photos of big glaciers with big fucking mountains in the background. Give us photos of the firmament, not light phenomenons. Photos of something physical and solid interacting with this so-called molten glass dome. If the sun and moon are local entities, go to them and take photos of it. You guys can fly planes, right? Oh, wait. Probably not. This is step 1, flatties. You've had 3 years, and all you've shown us is the equivalent of a dying fish flopping on a dock. We need more. Give us a damn model already. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you like this video, like it. If you want to see more, please subscribe to my channel, which is Dead Kennedy in Space. Thank you, and I'm out.
Over the next hill, beyond the horizon.
Find your place in space. Space is vast and unexplored. There's a lot of work to do.